Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Jalen Hurts takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Jalen Hurts breaking tackle after tackle, swings down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click. Boom! What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boys Mike and Tony, and we are here to bring you guys another fun-filled episode of the Nothing But Niners show. I'm going to get into a whole bunch of stuff, but before we do, let's run through some formalities so we can sit back, relax, and enjoy this show. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen are your first instructions for the night, all right? If you are a first-time viewer and you've never subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. Don't worry, we'll wait. I'm kidding. No, we won't. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live, all right? And then give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have Twitch. Those handles are Nothing But Niners. We also have Snapchat and X. Those handles are Nothing But 9ERS. And we have a Patreon page, guys. You guys don't want to be the last ones to join the Patreon community because we keep it hot, we keep it fresh, and we keep it real, all right? Patreon.com/NB9ERS is also the place to be, okay? And as I mentioned earlier, my name is Mike. You guys can give me a follow on social media. My name is Mike Andrews 83. How do I get that up there again? They changed this stuff up on the side over here. You guys got to bear with me for a second. But, oh, there it is. Bang. Mike Andrews 83. You see it right down there. Mike Andrews 83. That is the X handle. And then this guy over here, well, that's just Tony. Tony, our resident GM. How's it going, big dog? What's going on with you, man?
What's going on? How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I think the people in the chat are doing good because they are active. They are busy. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Make some noise for yourselves. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we dropping bombs on that, too. Boom. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see a lot of the faithful, a lot of supporters out there in the chat, man. Guys, this is going to be a lot of fun. Tony, what's good with you, man? How's it going?
No, just here to talk some Niner ball. Some news over the last couple days. Good things. Some questions on if there's any other moves that are going to be made or any additions to the staffs, to the current staff, anybody leaving the staff. There's some news that came out today about somebody potentially getting a new opportunity somewhere. We'll talk about that. I mean, overall, it's draft season's here. I mean, I'm over the Super Bowl. I give two shits about that damn game. But we're here to talk about it. So I'm ready when you are, buddy.
All right. So then this is what we're going to do, man. We're going to just jump right into this. We are going to jump right into all the latest news and all surrounding your favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers. I do have a banner for even that somewhere, if you guys bear with me. Bong. Oh, wrong one. Boom. There it is. Latest rumors, updates. All right. So here is some of the latest news. We know that the 49ers have been in a long hunt for defensive coordinator. Well, guys, guess what? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Share screen.
Ta-da.
Click that one. Turn off the audio because I don't want you guys to hear anything. Go back to this one. Share the screen. Change the background. And you guessed it, the 49ers defensive coordinator, Nick Sorensen, is going to be joining the Dallas Cowboys. I know this is the news that you guys were all waiting for, all right? The Cowboys are expected to hire Nick Sorenson as their special teams coordinator per sources. Sorenson spent last season as the 49ers defensive coordinator, but he has special teams experience, most recently with the Jaguars in 2021. I still think that Nick Sorenson looks like Matthew McConaughey trying to hide out from paparazzi. That is never going to change. It's all I see when I look at him. But this tweet from Tom Pelissero, Tony, what are your thoughts on this? Because this is quite the change from what we've been seeing.
Listen, I'm glad he's got an opportunity. I'm just really even more glad that it's not with us. He has 1 year as a special teams coordinator in Jacksonville, who he actually replaced Brian Schneider in Jacksonville because he had to take a leave of absence due to personal reasons, whatever. So they put him in for a year. He was out that after that year, came to San Francisco and kind of got thrown into a position where he was clearly way over his head. You can blame Kyle for it, but, that's what happens when you're in the Super Bowl. You don't have much to choose from because all the rosters are pretty much set. Not rosters, staffs are pretty much set. So you got to, you're talking the second week of February and you're already like, okay, who's going to be our defensive coordinator? You interview this one. All right, let's just keep it in-house and try to roll with that. And that's how we wound up with Sorensen. But we're not in the Super Bowl this year. We were able to make some adjustments to our staff. We're going to get into that. But, he's got an opportunity. I'm glad he took it, and we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah. Nick Sorensen was someone that Kyle initially said he was going to keep around and keep employed. Now, that doesn't mean that Kyle was telling an untruth. I do want to make it clear that being offered a coordinator position was better than anything that Sorensen was going to get here. So technically, this is a lateral move. He's going to go from a defensive coordinator to a special teams coordinator in Dallas. He would have had to take a demotion had he stayed here with the 49ers. So this is a good move for Sorensen and his family, and I'm going to give him a round of applause. That's it. Mainly because he's gone, and I'm not going to – I am happy to see Kyle changing, Tony. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Never happy to see anybody fired, like I said. Oh, Nigel with the quote of the night, Timu McConaughey. Yes, Timu McConaughey. Absolutely. That is who he is. But it's all good. He is no longer our problem. Now, speaking of special teams, let me get rid of that. Let me stop the screen share. There we go. Let's get back to us. Speaking of special teams, the 49ers have made some changes in their special teams department, Tony. And this is one that I think we should spend some time talking about here. 49ers hire Brant Boyer as special teams coordinator. Tony, this is not time to do your taxes. But, oh, okay. All right. I just didn't know what was going on over there.
Someone does my taxes. I can't be bothered with that shit.
Is his name? Oh, it's Brant Boyer. I said Brent. It's Brant. I'm sorry. Yeah. Brant. Hold on. See? Hold up. Let me fix that.
That's why I was kind of like, are you sure it's Brent?
Hold on. Wait. I got the noise for that. Hold on. Where is it? I got to rewind that thing there. All right. Boom. Okay. That's done now. Boom. Bring it back now. Come on. What is happening? Save. Brant Boyer. Oh, wrong one. Brant Boyer. Boom. There he is. Brant Boyer is the 49ers' new special teams coordinator. Tony, I think this is a hire that you may or may not approve of. Why don't you let us know?
Okay, listen. I mean, he stood with the Jets from 16 to current. So he's been there for, I believe it was 2016. He got his first break with the Jets. He bounced around the league a little bit. He's a former player, successful player. My thing is this. Clearly, Kyle had not a motive, but a plan. He wanted – I mean, Mike, how many times have we sat and watched these teams and say last year the Niners saying they're not the same team. Something's missing. Like they're not playing with intensity. They're not flying around. Shit's not going crazy on the sidelines. There's no emotion. Well, with these two hires, the emotion's going to be back. So clearly Kyle identified that as an issue with this team last year, that what it was lacking. And I mean, I'll tell you straight up, it was clear as day it was lacking. And it was a significant difference in this team than when it was under D'Amico or even Saleh. So with that being said, our new special teams, Brant Boyer is our new coordinator for our special teams. And just watch some videos on this guy on the sidelines. They posted something with the Jets. They were doing like a competition, and this guy's just like a maniac. His job on the special teams when he was a player, he was I don't know if people are familiar with this term, but he played the role of the wedge buster, where he was the guy who was running down with his hair on fire. And you know how they make that wedge in the middle? Like they 3-4 linemen drop back, and then all of a sudden they come into a wedge and they just go, and the back cuts off of the blocks. Well, his job was to blow that wedge up. So you're talking about a maniac, somebody who played with their hair on fire, intense, emotional. He's experienced as a special teams coordinator. It's not like a one-and-done type situation with this guy. So I'm for it. I like it. He's intense. So it can't be worse, right? And guess what?
Well.
They ran a special teams, a fake on special teams a couple times with the Jets. Gives us something to look forward to next year in 2025.
Say what?
Are you telling me that fake punts are a thing?
Yeah.
Really? I thought they were banned in the NFL.
You got a couple of them.
Wow. Okay. So here I'm gonna play this clip here. I don't know if we're gonna get dinged for it, but if we do, and oh well. Shout out to Pat McAfee. I'm gonna share this tab and let you guys hear what Pat McAfee, also a special teams ace in the NFL. Let's hear what he had to say about it.
You know they brought him to be their special teams coordinator?
Who?
Brant Boyer.
Yeah, they did.
Wow. San Fran?
San Fran.
Holy shit.
Our guy.
This guy's a beast. He was at the Jets, and I think even the Jets fans would say there was a lot that went wrong with our team. Our special teams was great. Blocking kicks, taking kicks to the house, throwbacks, you name it. Boyer's a dog. He played in the NFL 13 years as a teamer, I believe, back whenever it was CTE era. Yeah, he's wedge buster, this guy, as a teamer.
Yeah,
absolute beast. Stud. Great coach. Players love him because he was a player, and he has that mentality, but he's obviously very good at his gig. So you got Shanahan, Saleh, and Boyer. That is a great setup for the Niners to bounce back. Christian McCaffrey just going to be okay.
We'll see.
Achilles.
All right. We don't need to hear that part, so we can stop sharing that now. Tony, I wanted to ask you, was he your top choice? Now, obviously, the guy that just left Dallas, oh, man, Jerry isn't for such a rude awakening. Never mind. I don't know what Sorenson can do as a special teams coordinator, so let me not just make assumptions. But the guy that left Dallas, I think, was probably they had the top special teams unit, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, Fossil. Bones Fossil.
So he's gone. What do you think about Boyer? Was he your top choice of remaining candidates out there, I guess?
Remaining, I think it was up between him and Tabor. I liked Banjo from Denver, but again, the lack of experience as a official coordinator, holding that title with the responsibility that comes with it, right? So the only three people that really were experienced off the top of my head that I know the Niners were, well, I don't know the Niners if they sniffed around Fossil, would be Fossil, Tabor, they interviewed, Boyer, and then the up-and-coming ones would be Mockins and Banjo. Personally, I liked Banjo because I remember Banjo as a player was a maniac. He used to play for Arizona. He bounced around the league as well. He was just an intense special teamer. So I'm glad, and you're starting to see, like, I think the light bulb went on in Kyle's head, and we're going to get into it by the end of the show. But I think the light bulb went on because I think he's saying, okay, in 2024, I was in way over my head. I had too much responsibility. I had to worry about too much. It took me away from my job. And I think this is the right thing where he's actually taking a step back and checking himself or his ego. Some of the people want to say he's very ego. He's got a big ego and stuff. But I think he finally took a step back. He checked himself and he said, listen, I can't do it no more. I have to worry about my offense and managing this team. I can't be in all three phases. Yeah. So that's a very bright, that's a very positive thing. So I like to hire based off of experience. He's an experienced coordinator, experienced player. He survived a decent amount of time with the New York Jets through many changes. Saleh. Who was there before Saleh? Oh, Adam Gase was there before Saleh, or was there somebody else there? I don't know. But he's survived a decent amount of time with the Jets. The Jets, I'm not good with the rankings and how to look up stats for special teamers, but somebody posted something earlier, and his stats look pretty decent. I mean, based on what you're looking for, the DVOA shit, I'm not into that, but, they always look prepared, and they were not like, oh, duh, what do I got to do? Like, it wasn't like what you saw with our special teams. Just like there's no intensity, no strategy, no creativity, nothing. You just saw a team go out there and just put a helmet on a helmet, and that was it, and pray for the best. So I like it as far as the experience and the intensity that's going to be brought to the special teams unit. So I like it. The other guy I thought about was Tabor. I thought Tabor might have got the nod, but they went with him. I guess maybe Saleh, pounded the table for him. So
let me show the fake punt, since that might be a thing that is in the 49ers bag later.
Look what they're doing the fake, bro.
I know. Like, what a risk, right? What a risk. Now, you got to also look at the score. This is going into halftime, so they were pretty desperate at this point. They weren't able to move the ball too much on offense, obviously, and they were backed up. I mean, this guy is making this throw from the 10-yard line. So here we go. Check this out.
No, he's going to fake it. He's going to throw. It's caught.
And a broken tackle. And a shoelace tackle. That was going to the house. And look at how he's fired up, Tony. That's what I like the most at the end of it. Do you see him praising this guy? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him running down the sideline. You see him?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
That's what the Niners haven't had last year.
Oh my God.
That's
that emotion on the sidelines.
That's what this team has been missing. You didn't see it. You haven't seen it.
Oh man. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it, man. And that's what we're hoping to see some more of out here this year. The Niners just going out there and absolutely doing their thing when it comes to the special teams unit, man. No more just like going through the motions with it, we want to feel something, we want to know that there's more than just offense, and let's see if the defense can stop, right? Like, let's put some respect on the three phases, and that's what Brant is hopefully going to bring to the table. Now, I am interested to see just how or who we go out to get as far as pure special teamers, if that makes any sense. That's what I want to see. I want to know if we're going to go out and target return guys, or are we going to go out and look for gunners? You know what I mean? Like, I want to see how this all works out. Some other interesting tweets that are out there concerning Brant Boyer. Let me show you guys this one here. This is from Akash, or Akash. I'm sorry if I said his name wrong. No disrespect at all. But here we have one here. He says, really optimistic. Let me pull it back up. There we go. He says, really optimistic with the Brant Boyer hire for the 49ers as special teams in 25 and beyond. Since 2016, Jets ranks in special teams total and touchdowns, number 2, blocked punts, number 2, and points scored, number 5. That is since 2016. That is 9 seasons, guys. Like, that's pretty impressive. Coached up 2 all-pro returners and was off the staff with McAfee Vinatieri with the Colts before joining the Jets. Has led a really good unit and seems to be well regarded with his players. I mean, that's just phenomenal right there. And then there is another one with the DVOA numbers. Let me see if I can find that. I believe that was from Rob Lauder, maybe? Was that one?
I think so.
Rob, let me see if I can find that one here. But yeah, they have the DVOA stats broken down. DVOA. I'm looking, I'm searching. All right, but either way, they were all very good numbers to see. Here we go. This is from, I got one here from Rich Madrid. I'll post this one here. All right. And this says, you see they were 29th, then 2nd, then 21st, then 5th, and then 24th. So you see some up and downs there in DVOA since 2020. But, I mean, the Niners would kill to have 20s. You know what I mean? I can't imagine where we were in DVOA this year or the past couple of years. So, and that's just since 2020. That's not going back to the very beginning of his tenure with the Jets. And one thing that should be said about him in all of this is he had that job in 2016, right? Mm-hmm. The Jets went through how many different head coaches, how many different, you know what I mean? They may have even switched GMs at that time. He somehow managed to stick around. So there's a lot of things wrong with the Jets organization. It seems like special teams wasn't one of them. This guy was in there and doing his thing. So I really, really like the potential. I really like the potential for what we could see out there. All right. Let me see. Let's go ahead and keep it moving here because there's some other news that everyone wants to talk about. We want to make it official. We all heard, we all suspected, but it is official. Robert Saleh is back as the 49ers defensive coordinator, ladies and gentlemen. It's a party now. It is a party. It is a party. Robert Saleh is back in the building. Now, this is going to give us this is going to give us a couple of different things that we can talk about here. We now all of a sudden have direction for the defense. We can start looking at who we should draft now because we know what defense they're going to be running out there. What are your thoughts on Robert Saleh coming back? I mean, I know we kind of talked about it before, but it wasn't official until now.
All right. So the whole Robert Saleh situation, again, Kyle checked himself. He stood back and identified his problems, right? He decided that this is the scheme. That's fine. He wants to go. He brought somebody that has had success with the scheme, that is familiar with the players around it. There's going to be no grit. There's going to be no real hard right turn as far as changes in scheme, where it's going to take a couple weeks to get up to speed on. And Kyle trusts him. And again, another factor that we tied to the special teams coordinator, you're going to get it with the defensive coordinator with the intensity on the sidelines and having that swag and belief back and confidence in this unit. Granted, they do have to make some moves. They do have to maneuver a little bit, add some pieces, and make decisions on players to come back or add pieces. Again, don't be surprised if they go back to the well in New York and start taking some Jets with them that are familiar with their schemes and stuff like that. If they're good, I'm not opposed to it. If they believe in it, they know what's expected, obviously, from Saleh and him being the head coach with the Jets. So they know what's expected in demand and commitment and stuff like that and preparation to be in that type of system. I'm for it. But the thing is this. The wide nine's not going anywhere. And I think we all –
Are you sure about that?
I'm going to say I'm 95% sure that the wide nine's not going anywhere because as of right now, there was no significant changes to the defensive line coach or any of the defensive line coaches with Kosaric and not Tap. Tap went to Washington. I forgot the other guy's name that they brought in. But those two guys are still there as of now. So with that being said, this scheme that Kyle loves and swears by is not going anywhere, so you're going to see it. But I'm going to say something, and I read an article. I can't remember what the article was. It was somewhere on – I was surfing the internet, and I just found something, and I was just reading it. It was about Saleh and how he went to Green Bay and stuff like that. And an interesting thing, how as much as it was reported that Saleh was on the offensive side of the ball, this article stated that Saleh was involved with who's their defensive coordinator? with the Green Bay Packers that was in San Francisco. He's the secondary coach. He was the defensive coordinator for Iowa State. Hafley?
Oh, shit.
Jeff Hafley. Was it
Jeff
Hafley? Yeah. So he also did some work with Hafley behind the scenes as far as observing and picking up things. So that tells me potentially you could see little odds and ends. Maybe changes a little bit. Maybe different looks. Not just strict cover 3, single high, not that typical worn out look that's been around the league. I mean, Pete Carroll invented the defense. George Seifert was the real architect of that defense almost, and then Pete Carroll put his touch on it. And Pete Carroll doesn't even run that defense, I don't think, anymore as much as what he used to back in the day in Seattle. So there's got to be little different versions and little odds and ends that are going to be adjusted, which I think you're going to see this year. Here's the thing. I'm happy they brought him back. This is who Kyle went out and single-handedly identified as his defensive coordinator. And he let Ulbrich get hired. He let Dennis Allen get hired. He let Matt Albers get hired. He let all these guys get hired. And he said, I'm sticking with this. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was a wink, shake hands and behind closed doors saying, I'm coming here unless I get this job. Whatever job it was, whatever job it was, he didn't get, so he came right here. I don't even think Dallas was in it. I think it was the Jacksonville job that he really wanted. He didn't get it.
Jacksonville wanted someone. They wanted one person more than Saleh, and as soon as they got rid of Trent, Saleh was like, boom. And I think that has a lot to do with Jed York, by the way.
Yes.
Shout out to Jed York.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So, damn, Buster Gamer, you took my shine, man.
Uh-oh. Well, you might as well go ahead and say it. It's there.
I want them to bring Joe Woods back and take the role of Staley.
Yeah.
I don't think Staley's here no more. No official announcement came up, but we need that other piece. And I think this defense was humming with Joe Woods, if I remember correctly. I mean, don't hold me to it, but I remember this defense humming. And that's where you saw the change in this defense running strict cover 3 single high, where you saw the 2 deep. You saw them go to a 2 deep look. You saw more exotic pressures, more, it's just Kyle, to start off the show, what did we talk about? Kyle identifying the problem. He can't handle all 3 phases. So he went out and grabbed this guy, Boyer. Now he grabbed Saleh. And now guess what? Saleh's the head coach of the defense. Boyer's the head coach of the special teams. Kyle's the head coach of the offense. Now guess what? Kyle, by doing these moves, also put a little pressure and maybe a little fire under the seat for himself, because now there's no reason for him to be. You understand?
You're getting to it. The heat is on now.
I'm not saying the heat is on, but
I am.
I'm saying this. He put a little pressure on himself because of that. He identified the weaknesses. He said, I can't handle all 3. I'm not good enough for that. I have to worry about my offense. I have to continue developing Brock. I have to evolve my offense. And with that being said, I can't babysit like I did last year with those 2 guys. So they brought in 2 leaders, 2 experiences, 1 former head coach, 1 really experienced special teamer. And now bring back Joe Woods, man. Bring Joe Woods back to work with that defense with Saleh. Right? I'm not saying fire all the whole defense. Bring that second set of eyes to come up with some creativity to it and that intensity where they're flying around. And I'm telling you, it's the coaches are there. Now they got to get the pieces to coach and make this team take that next step. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done, especially on that defensive line. But I think they could do it. I think they could do it I'm not saying Super Bowl bound, but I think they could right in the ship pretty quick and make a push into the playoffs. Now, there's a little favoritism going on because of the weak schedule. They have a 4th place schedule. So there could be a shot where this team could go. But they all got to buy in. They all got to work together. Kyle has to do his thing, Saleh, Boyer, and I think this team will be all right. But I think not only did Kyle Shanahan put a little pressure on him, but I think Kyle Shanahan put a little pressure on John Lynch too, saying, hey, listen, the coaches are there. Now we're going to get the pieces for these guys to coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On the flip side of it, though, they did have a very successful draft last year. I will say that. So
let me ask this question, because I hear that a lot. I hear people saying the draft was good, the draft was good, the draft was good, right? We say that because of the influx of injuries, and we just kind of were forced to see a lot of these guys go out there and play.
Correct.
So are we looking at the highlights of all of the players that were rookies and what they had to do? Or are we genuinely saying that these are solid guys? Because we've seen guys have a good year due to injuries, and then they just fall off a cliff. We've seen this before. So
I'm saying that they have experienced guys that have a lot of football under their belt that came in when given an opportunity, and they took the most of it, and they were prepared to do it. You could say what you want about Pearsall, but I think that kid's going to take a step this year. Pearsall was set back by that horrific tragedy incident that almost cost him his life, and he came out like a freight train the last 3 games, which probably was equal to his first 3 games because he was out the whole time with that shoulder issue. Then he got shot. Then he came back, and then now all of a sudden I think if anybody finished strong on that team, I think Ricky Pearsall finished the strongest out of that whole offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I think the running backs had a good season. I think the running backs had a good season, but they were just plagued with injury, so we couldn't see them consistently out there. But I agree with you, man. This is the best we saw of a 3-game stretch for any rookie wide receiver that the 49ers have ever had. Under Kyle Shanahan, let me be clear, under Kyle Shanahan, that 3-game stretch for Pearsall was pretty special. And it's just about, to me, it was more about getting these guys opportunities, right? Were we forced to play some of them? Yeah, Kyle admitted so much talking about Dominic Pooney, right? Like, Pooney was never going to be a guy that was supposed to be a starter, right? This was more of a grooming thing to see how we could look in year 2, but due to very early injuries in the offseason workouts and all that stuff, he was forced to go in there and play. And we were pretty happy with what we saw. He started to teeter off a little bit towards the end, but that could be attrition, right? This is a kid that played, at the most 11, 12 games in his collegiate career, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to 17 right now, And I think that Pooney started out really high, slowly started to teeter off, but he finished in the middle, which isn't bad. That's not bad. He started out really, really high, finished somewhere in the middle. Great pick for the Niners, a lot of potential. He's going to learn to start playing all the games. He's going to learn how to reserve some of that energy and be consistent at a high base. And anytime you hear from Pooney, anytime you read about him, he likes to learn. It's more mental than it is physical. He's got all the physical traits. He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the length, he's got everything that you want. And now it's just going to be the mental part of it. Go ahead.
Imagine him in a full offseason in an NFL weight room.
That part.
Because the problem is this, like, people really underestimate this. These guys finish their collegiate career, and what do? They start prepping for the draft.
Right. Yeah.
They're losing weight. They're losing weight to become faster and look better, and then all of a sudden, boom, here you go. You're in the training camp. Now you're going up against the NFL's best, right? And now, I understand they have camp in college, but it's different than the NFL. Now you week 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. That's where you hit your wall, and you're kind of like, bro, my body's dead. I can't do this no more. But there was never a time where you're like, holy shit, this kid sucks. Like, he's in way over his head. No.
Not
as
once.
worn down as he was, the kid was still competing. He still had good games. Yeah, he wasn't as crisp and as good as he was previously, but, I mean, there's a reason behind it. And I honestly think that's the problem with the 49ers. Their season ended what? February 4th last year? They played all the way from August through February 4th or 5th. Then took some time off and came right back again and did it again. This team was broken, like, physically. They wore down. So, it's something to talk about, and that's where they need to replenish the depth of this roster. I mean, the running backs, I have no complaint from our running back group because we went down to running back, 5?
Yeah. It was pretty bad, man.
Like, I mean, we were deep in the running back depth chart. So, I have no
grabbing
issue.
Guys off the street, and they were actually getting snaps and touches. So, I mean, it was definitely something to see. I want to give I want to go back to what you said about Kyle putting some heat on himself, right? And not so much heat in the sense that, if you don't do it now, like your job is on the line. I don't think that's what you meant. But that's not what I meant when I said, he's got some heat, right? But now it's time to see improvement, right? Kyle no longer has to worry about the defense. This defense is going to be run exactly the way he intended it to be run from the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I literally mean from day one as the 49ers head coach, here comes Robert Saleh, and they worked that defense up, right? It's back. It's back. Whether we like the defensive scheme or not, whether we think the rest of the NFL is caught up to the scheme or not, that remains to be seen. But Kyle has his guy. Kyle has a well-respected special teams coordinator. Kyle, I have said for years, did not value the third phase of the game. You go out and you get one of the top special teams coordinators in the entire NFL. You don't even have to worry about that phase of the game anymore. Where the special teams units start to really take a hit is when the injuries happen, and now you got starters playing on special teams, and now they're a little more tired, a little bit more winded, and they're no longer the specialists that are out there. Right now it's just kind of plug and play, and whoever is left that can go out there and run as a gunner, or who can go out there as a return man, or who can go out there and block and all. Like, all of a sudden it looks a little bit different. I think that all those excuses kind of go away. Not talking about injuries and all, I think the first 5 games of next season are going to show us what the potential of this team is. And the reason I'm saying 5 is because usually after that is when you start to see some of the injuries start to take place. But there's no more going to be Kyle Shanahan finishing up a game and being forced to watch defensive tape, because I don't know if Sorenson can handle it. I don't know if Saleh can handle it. You know what I mean?
Omar just put a very good thing up there at 8:23. Kyle can trust his coaches. Now he needs to trust his players and quit trying to micromanage Purdy. Now, I was thinking about this once they decided on the hire of their special teams coach and their defensive coordinator. And now my thing is this, looking back at it, after you saw what they had last year as far as coordinators, and you see what they're getting this year, did Kyle take that offense and Brock Purdy out of the realm to play differently, to protect his defense and special teams? Like to cover up for the weakness of the team, meaning the defense and special teams coordinator. Is that a possibility? And to be honest with you, Mike, with these 2 drastic moves he made, I honestly feel that was Kyle's mentality. He felt all the weight on him to cover up and try to put that offense and let that offense carry the team instead of having a true 33% balance across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he didn't have confidence in Sorensen. And I got to be honest with you, there were times that the camera panned to Sorensen on the sideline, and you literally, the one time I swear to God, his play sheet was upside down, and you'd see him like this. And, I mean, I don't know, maybe because this side was up and then the back side was just upside down, so when he flips it, he could just look. But it looked like the whole sheet was this way, and he was just like this. And, like, you see shit like that, and it's like, bro, why is Kyle—
Can I ask a question, though? Because they settled on Sorensen so early. What made him do that? Like, this is what I just don't understand, this promoting from within that happened.
This is the problem, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. This is where Kyle got in trouble. And they had success from promoting within, right? You bring in Saleh, Saleh left. Who do you go up to next? Oh, let's bring up DeMeco Ryans. Look at the success that they had. I think that was more another step with DeMeco, right?
Yeah, because he
Kyle's
ignited the linebackers.
Kyle's in the back of his head, well, shit, if DeMeco could do it, maybe we can keep it in-house. It is February something. The combine starts in 2 weeks. Let me try to call Bill. Bill, you want to come? No, I'm not interested. All right, Spags, you want to come? No, I'm not interested. They tried to jump out and grab 2 big names that didn't work. So at that point, like, what are you going to do? You're going to keep interviewing, prolonging it, and what are you going to do? You're just going to settle right back to what you originally planned, right? So what did he do? He went out, he promoted Sorenson from within to keep the continuity, keep the verbiage of the play call, the verbiage of the calls and scheme. And then they added Brandon Staley, which did not make sense at the time. Thinking about it, like, okay, what are we going to see? Are we going to see a hybrid defense? We all thought about it. I thought maybe we would see a hybrid defense.
I thought so too. Once they hired Staley, I thought that was coming.
Yeah, so then, like, is it something that where if he shits the bed, Staley takes over midseason? We didn't see that. So it is what it is. They made the mistake. They identified it that he can't do this no more. So what did he do? At least, thank God, he identified that and went out and got the guys that he really wanted with experience. That's a major step for Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
It's a major step. And not for nothing, guess what else he's doing? He's adding a coordinator this year for the offense.
Well, is he?
He is. But he's not going to play calling duties, but at least he's going to have somebody to work with him officially now with game planning, putting call sheet, scripting and stuff like that. Even though
who's it going to be?
It's going to be the Kubiak that we have. I don't know their fucking name.
Okay.
Clay, Cobb. I don't know. It's going to be a Kubiak. Whoever the Kubiak is left, that's the Kubiak we're going to have.
Right. All right. So,
unless,
look.
Unless somebody plucks him and then he goes back to Slowick. We don't know. Oh. So, yeah. So, it's a positive step as far as Kyle understanding, identifying that he can't do everything. He's not Superman. As great as we think he is as a head coach, but he's not Superman. He can't handle that.
This comment right here is one of my favorites of the night so far also. That's 2 of them that I like a lot. But start prepping KJ right now. Now, he didn't say right now, but I like how he put right and then now next to each other, right? So because you got that stud defensive player, just like you had in D'Amico, not only do we still have KJ Wright, they are sending him out to the Senior Bowl. He's going to the Senior Bowl. He's going to get first look at all this stuff. Right now, all of a sudden, you can see the grooming taking place. Another benefit to not having a team in the postseason is now you can get your coaching staff to all these different shrine games and not bowl games. What do they call these games? I call them the specialty games. I don't know what they are. What the official term is.
Collegiate All-Star games.
Yeah, and so this to me is phenomenal, man. The Niners are getting a really, really good look here, and they're going to be more prepared this offseason for the draft than they even were last year. Everyone's thinking that we knocked out last year's draft. You guys just wait and see when these guys get their hands on these players and get to see them, talk to them, figure out what motivates these guys. They can just get a feel for these guys, right, from up close and personal, right? The benefits of that outweigh anything that we did last year. And I think KJ Wright should be the guy that moves up in the rankings for the 49ers in the event and when Robert Saleh decides, all right, it's time for me to be a head coach again, because he will. I guarantee you he will get more looks. I don't know a lot of Tony, you know some guys. No, I don't want to put your business out there. We live in this Northeast area. We know a lot of Jet fans. And the Jet fans that I talk to feel like Robert Saleh got the raw deal. There was this whole thing with
when they went overseas, they got embarrassed, and Woody Johnson got pissed off.
Well, but not just that though. There was the thing about the flag that he wore on his shirt and all that shit. It was like more political than it was anything else. Was it Pakistan?
Palestine.
I don't. Palestine. There you go, Palestine. But like it was like this whole like political bullshit that took place and all that, and a lot of people felt that was maybe the tipping point and all that. Whatever it is, Kyle Shanahan couldn't care less about shit like that. You know, your personal beliefs are your personal beliefs. Can you coach or can't you? Can you coordinate or can't you? Can you run my defense or can't you? That's all Kyle cares about. That shit's not going to get in the way of the success of this team going forward. But KJ Wright, being the next guy to work his way up through the rankings. You tell me who's going to motivate you more, a Nick Sorensen or a KJ Wright, if you have to promote from within.
Oh,
come on,
KJ
exactly.
Wright.
So I absolutely love that. Tony, man, is there anything else you want to talk about with the Niners? We do need to do a recap of Championship Sunday. I know it's a lot of nonsense that we don't want to really talk about, but we do have to get to it. Was there anything else with the 49ers that you wanted to discuss before we move on to that?
No, I mean, I think we touched as far as the coaches, the additions to the coaching staff. Keep your eyes out for a couple more moves, especially now that Staley's probably not going to come back. They could be adding a couple pieces here and there. Officially named the Kubiak as a coordinator for the offense. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all we got right now as far as the Niners.
So before we move on, I do want to ask this. Now that we know it's Robert Saleh, and we know the scheme that he's going to be running, we know it's at least going to be a 4-3, and he might sprinkle some other things in there. You were talking about the two safeties and having, in my opinion, I think Saleh values a true free safety and a true strong safety. We didn't see this interchangeable, at least I don't remember it. We didn't see this interchangeable safety thing that the Niners have been trying to do for the last 3 seasons. I've kind of hated that. I'm not going to lie to you, because I feel like we just continued to draft safeties that look like pure box safeties, like guys that shouldn't be playing free because they didn't have the speed, they didn't know how to take the right angles and all that stuff. How many times did you see our free safety being passed by everybody on the defense trying to stick the guy back there, right? Like you're not even playing the deep part of the field like you're supposed to be doing. I think we get back to some of the basics with those positions. Does that allow us to say, all right, we need to identify who we should be drafting now that we have Saleh locked in here? Like, does it become easier to start targeting some guys?
Yes, definitely. I think that there's going to be a massive change to this defense. I think they need a huge injection of speed to this defense. I think you might see it this year.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that's been missing for this defense is just the threat. You know what I mean? And then we've got some guys that I'm going to be interested to see when Saleh gets his hands on them, what he's going to do for those guys. Malik Mustafa and Green, like Renardo Green, right? Like, how do you think he rolls those guys out? Like, where do you see those guys playing in this scheme?
Mustafa is going to be. I mean, as of right now, I don't know. Like, we don't know because Hufanga's a free agent.
Bye.
Mooney Ward is a free agent, and we all know he's not coming back due to personal reasons, which is totally understandable. So it's the Niners committed to the Amador Lenore last year. He's going to be one starting corner. And I think right now Green is going to be penciled in as the other starting corner, which I don't have a problem with. I think he played very well last year. A very talented kid who was taught very well at Florida State. And just FYI, there's another one coming up from Florida State, Mr. Thomas, who's been taught very well as well. And he's a very talented corner. Bigger than Green, but, people overlook the coaching that some of these kids receive in college football. Not a lot of people notice, but Florida State's defensive back coach and corner coach is Patrick Surtain. The coincidence that this came in and took the bull by the horns and just played, is he perfect? No, he's got a little flaws, a little grabby on the top of the routes, but it's stuff that he got away with in college. He's got to learn he's not going to get away with it in the NFL. So, but as far as technique and where he needs to be in the coverage on certain parts of the routes, he's there. He's that. He's got it.
Yeah.
So it's just he needs a little fine tuning, and he's going to get it in the NFL. And I think, he was a little shaky in the beginning of the year, and he finished strong. That's what you want to see. So as far as the secondary goes, those are your 2 starting corners as of right now. And I think, Mustafa you would have to go with, and Jair Brown right now, because that's the only ones that are really under contract, other than Odin and Mahoney and the kid that they just signed last week as a street free agent. But like I said, they're going to be very busy this year. And whether it's the draft or free agency, they're going to be adding pieces. And they're not.
Do you think
they're going to add speed, especially back there?
You think the Niners are in the runnings to land a guy in free agency like DJ Reed? And if so, where are you putting him?
See, now that's the question. That's the question, because I could see him as a potential free safety. Because when he was drafted, he played across the board at Kansas State. He played inside, outside, and I think he played a little free safety. And he was a punt returner.
Yeah.
The ties are there. The ties are there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a market for him that pushes the 49ers out? That could be a very strong possibility.
I mean, but he is Robert Saleh true and through, right? I mean, he goes from the Niners back to Seattle, same system, and then he follows Saleh to the Jets, and now he's a free agent. So I would not be surprised. I mean, he's got more time with Robert Saleh than, honestly, it would be anybody currently on the 49ers. He has more time with Robert Saleh than anybody. He may just want to come back to where he knows what he knows. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's a dollar for dollar match, he's probably going to choose the 49ers over another team. At least that's how I feel.
See, but I can't see them going into a bidding war. I can't. I think their number one target right now in free agencies, they're addressing the center position. Kyle, since he's been here, has brought in a veteran. Whenever he wanted to bring in somebody to address the center, whether it was Richburg, whether it was the kid that was the former military Air Force captain, Garland, Alex Mack, and now you have Drew Dahlman, who's someone that when we did our draft board that year, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever the hell it was, I said, we need to draft this. We need to draft this kid. This kid is good. I'm telling you, his bloodline, Stanford, the connection. I think he was a team captain at Stanford. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he would be the nice piece that you would need at that center position. I know they added the Hennessy kid from Atlanta, who actually Dahlman beat out for the starting center spot. That's why he became a free agent. But,
right.
You know, they need to add that centerpiece. They got to move on from Brendel. He's not good. He's done. His knee is shot. And, you know, it's going to cost them some money, and I think that's going to be their true number one target if they got to go big. And, I mean, listen, we remember when they went out and signed Hargrave, we were like, they're not going to do anything crazy. They're going to sign one mid-tier guy and a bunch of roster fill-out guys that fill the roster out in the back end. And not even the 1 minute past 12, they signed him to like an $80-something million deal. And we were just like, bro, what the fuck?
God.
But, you know, so, I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting. They have, 10, 11 picks this year in the draft? Not officially until, I mean, that's being reported with the comp picks.
I think 11, is what the number is right now.
So, I mean, they're going to have the ability, and, you know, they can't, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if there's not a day one contributor at 11, you got to move back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was reading an article today for Jim Nagy. I'm actually on an article on Twitter. Nagy said he spoke to several teams and they feel that there's only 10 players with true first-round grades. That this is what the several teams were telling him. So now what do? You're at 11 and all 10 players are gone. You can't take somebody to take somebody.
Well, but all 10 players, by the way, I don't think – all right, here we go. I don't think there's a real first-round quarterback, but that doesn't mean quarterbacks aren't going to go early in the first round, right?
No,
so
yeah.
if you're looking at grades alone, I think you have a really good shot of at least 4 of those guys being available. Well, let me say 3. I think 3 quarterbacks go before the Niners are even on the board. So if that's the case, that means that there's still going to be at least 3 guys there. Every quarterback that comes off, your top 10 graded guys or 10 first-round grade guys, one of them is still going to be there. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
So
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is the pickings is slim, because if you say there's 10 true first-round grades, right? And then you throw the quarterbacks in there, that's 14. So now you got to worry about teams jumping to go grab somebody maybe or something like that. And it might be in a position where the 49ers, where they could only have 8 guys with first-round grades, and all 8 of those guys could be gone. So all I'm just saying is I think they can't just take somebody to take somebody. They can't do what they did with Kinlaw. Oh, well, we traded Buckner, so now we're going to draft Kinlaw. No, you got to stick to your board. You got to stick to your strategy and your studies and all your work you put into this, and do it that way. Like, I don't know. There's talk saying the kid from Michigan, the corner, Will Johnson, he could be there.
Right.
Or even the defensive tackle, Graham. He could be there.
Yep.
We don't know.
There's some questions in the chat here. It says, do you think Greenlaw will walk? Right. And I know a lot of people think that Greenlaw is going to get the bag and he's out of here. Right. But I got to tell you guys something. In the last 4 seasons, Greenlaw has barely played half of the games available. He only played 2 games this year. If you go back 4 years, he only played 3 games that year. Then he played 15 and 15 the years in between. Right? Out of 66 games, he only played 36. So barely over half of the games available. And I think teams are going to look at that. I think teams are going to say, yeah, we could go and get him, but the Niners put him back on IR. He finished the 1 season on IR. So I don't think the price for Greenlaw is going to be quite as much as what people think. I honestly feel that Greenlaw might be a guy that we can get. What do you think about that?
Now, I call Dre Greenlaw myself. I'm joking.
You call him what?
I called Dre Greenlaw myself. I'm joking.
Yeah. What do you say when you called him?
Click. No, I'm joking. No, I just don't like. I feel bad for Dre, right? Because you know what he gives you, you know what he offers, you know what he brings, right? But my thing is this: the only way I think he leaves is if the Texans give him money. If there's no other team that's not willing to overpay for him, and it comes down to a prove-it deal with minimal guarantees and incentive-based production contract, I think he's staying in San Francisco, especially
I think
with Saleh coming back.
I think so. Yeah, he's got the history with Saleh. He had his best years. If I'm being honest with you, he had his best years with Saleh also. Well, maybe not. I think 2023 was pretty special for him also. But that's when he got his most penalties as well. But his rookie season in 2019 was a good year for him. The year after that, also, some injuries, missed a couple of games. The year after that, he only played in 3 games. But then you go 15-15, and then 2, like I said. I think this is the place for Dre Greenlaw. But if I'm him, I'm not taking a prove-it deal. And if I'm the Niners, I'm not offering him a prove-it deal. I am going to offer him a full 4-year contract, but it's not going to be top of the market for the linebacking group. And by the way, linebackers don't get paid as much money as people think they do. So I think he's going to be affordable no matter how you spin it. And like you said, I think we're really competing with D'Amico. It's going to be D'Amico or Robert Saleh. I really think those are going to be the 2 coaches/coordinators that are bidding for him.
Wait, did you just say you don't think linebackers get paid like we think they do?
I don't think linebackers cost as much as what people think they do. No, not at all.
You know what Fred Warner's cap number is this year?
I do, but you're talking about cap number. I'm talking about average per year. Linebackers are they may be the lowest on AP average per year of all defensive players, because defensive ends, corners, safeties, they all get paid more average per year than linebackers do. Linebackers are the running backs of the defensive side of the ball. Defensive
majority.
Edge guys.
There's
edge guys are number 1. Edge guys are number 1. Corners are number 2, and if I'm not mistaken, safeties are number 3. And then it's nickels, and then it's linebackers. So they're not breaking a salary cap. They're not going to destroy a salary cap based off of position. I'm just talking about based off of position. So I don't think that he's going to break the bank. If Dre Greenlaw got a deal that was averaging $12 million a year, who's mad at that?
Who's mad at it?
Yeah.
I would be very hesitant of it because of his history.
Oh, now I got to look up salary by position. NFL salary by position.
Dude, Dude, Fred Warner signed a 5-year, $95 million extension, bro.
Yeah, but Fred Warner was looked
Ain't
at
no
as,
safety making that type of.
No, that's not true. That's not. Listen. All right, watch this. Here we go. I got the breakdown right here. I'm going to spotrack.com. All right, here we go. The breakdown by positions. What is this?
I mean, he only had $41 million guaranteed, so that's $840 if it's guaranteed. If you do it per year, that's like $8 and change, eight something a year. Over 5 years at 41 point something million dollars.
All right. This is not what I was looking for. I'm going to find this. And I'm telling you, I'm going to break this thing down. Contracts by position, market value. Maybe it's considered market value. Wait, what the hell is this? Did Brock Purdy sign a deal that I don't know about?
No.
Bro, track the current calculated market values. This says Brock Purdy, 4 years, $238 million. Average salary, 59.
Are they projecting it?
I hope so, because otherwise there's a deal that we don't know about. I'm looking at Spot Rack right here. Josh Allen's number one, 4 years, $240 million. Then Brock Purdy's right under him, 4 years, $238 million. And then under him is Baker Mayfield, 3 years, $178 million. So these have to be projections because I don't know where these numbers came from. All right, so that's not what I want to see. I want to see by position. I want to see position breakdown. Cap rankings. Here we go. Why isn't it letting me click it? Cash rankings. All right, now my computer is doing some really, really stupid stuff, and I'm getting annoyed. But my point is linebackers don't cost nearly as much as what people think they do. Let me try Spot Rack. I mean, what's it called? Over the cap.
Over the cap.
Positions. All right, so if I go to linebackers, so Roquan Smith is the highest paid linebacker right now, and he's averaging $20 million a year. Now, that's the top of the market. Zaire Franklin just signed his deal recently with the Colts. He's only getting 10. Do you think Dre Greenlaw is going to get Zaire Franklin numbers? Like Zaire Franklin led the league in tackles for the last 2 years. He's not getting $10 million in average. Can we agree on that or no?
No.
No, we don't agree on that? Or no, he's not going to get Zaire Franklin.
He's not getting
right. So then, I mean, yeah. So then, I mean, what are we arguing about then? So that, yeah. So I don't think Greenlaw is going to cost that much money. Fred Warner second at 19.04. But like I said, you got Roquan Smith making 20. Now, that's the top guy. If I go to, all right, so $20 million is the top for the linebackers. Edge rushers, the top is 34 a year. Hello, Nick Bosa. Right? So that's Nick Bosa. If I go to corner, $24 million a year. That's Jalen Ramsey. If I go to, and I'm just telling you the top of the top. If I go to safety, $21 million. That's Antoine Whitfield, which is more than the $20 million for the linebacker. So it's at least fourth. What other one is there? It's edge rusher. What about interior line? Let's see what the interior got. Oh my God, Chris Jones, $31 million a year. That's an anomaly. Under him, Christian Wilkins, $27 million a year. Matabuke, $24 million a year. McNeil, $24 million a year. Derrick Brown, $24 million a year. Quinnen Williams, $24 million a year. Jeff Simmons, $23 million a year. DeForest Buckner, $23. He's not gonna earn more than those guys. So yeah, it's the fifth highest position. It's the fifth highest position on the defense. So I don't think that he's gonna, price himself out of what the Niners can afford to pay for him. So Are you ready to talk about they got it? Okay. Not yet. You can stay up until I say. You got 20 minutes. Go upstairs. All right. So we got to talk about championship weekend, Tony. I know that's not something that we really, really want to talk about, but we got to go ahead and get to it, man, because it's just where we are. It's where we are. We'll start with the first game that happened. Washington Commanders against the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to shout out Daryl Tapp, who is the Commanders' defensive line coach. He left here as our assistant defensive line coach. He was here from 21 to 23, and then 24, he was hired by Washington as their defensive line coach. Shout out to him, a Northeast guy from Virginia. And they did not show up the way we were hoping they would. The Eagles went out there and put up over 50 points on that team. That defense was just beat to shit, though. Let's be honest here. We knew when the Commanders were playing the Lions that it was going to be a high-scoring game because neither team had a good defense. We knew it was going to be a high-scoring game. And the Commanders were even worse against the run. And what is the Eagles' specialty? You guessed it, the rush. So it kind of played out the way most people thought it was going to play out. If you weren't betting with your heart and you were just betting with your mind, you kind of knew what the outcome of this game was going to be. Tony, what were your thoughts on this Eagles game, and tell me how you really feel about the outcome?
I think the issue with that game, the outcome of that game, I listen, they put a 50 burger up. It is what it is. But when you turn the ball over 3 times, at least because I stopped watching it, I saw 3 turnovers. There could have been a 4th one, but you can't win a national. You can't win the NFC Championship game with 3 turnovers. It's very impossible, especially turnovers in favorable position for the Eagles. So with that being said, immediately 3 turnovers, you have no chance of winning, unless something just astronomically God's on your side that day. But whatever. And as far as Daniels, he had a very good year. He's a very good quarterback. But let me tell you something. They need to work on that kid's damn mechanics because his mechanics were all – he was short. He was one-hopping balls into guys, like he short throws. He had one guy, Samuel, if he would have put the ball where it needed to be, it would have been a touchdown because there's nobody on that side of the field. They ran a shallow crosser, and nobody was there. And he friggin' not one-hopped it. He caught it, but it was a very short throw. And he had to go down to the ground, rolled, and by the time he came up, I don't even think he caught it, to be honest with you, off the top of my head now that I'm thinking about it. But when you have opportunities like that to make a big play, you have to take advantage of it. You can't screw up and be throw poor passes like that. As far as the defense, I don't know how the Giants didn't clean house this year by letting Saquon Barkley go, especially. There's 2 people that I'm cheering for right now. And that's Saquon Barkley to get a ring and Vic Fangio to get a ring. Other than that, they go all kiss my ass, especially that clown of a head coach.
Yeah, I can't stand Sirianni, and I can't stand the Eagles, but I'm with you right there. Vic Fangio deserves a ring, and so does Saquon Barkley, man. I mean, I remember when we got Christian McCaffrey, people were like, oh, he's the best running back in the league. And I said, he's the best running back for this team, but I still think Saquon is better than him. And people looked at me like I was crazy, right? And when it comes to just running the ball, Saquon is better right now than Christian McCaffrey is. But as a pass catcher and a weapon, I think Christian McCaffrey takes the cake there. And this was a big argument that I had at work today. People were like, oh, you're a hater, you're a hater. I was like, no. I think Saquon's the best running back in the NFL. But I think Christian McCaffrey is a better all-around running back when you look at what he's asked to do. Blocking, running the ball, catching, running routes, and all that. I think Christian McCaffrey's better. Well, I mean, come on, we're talking about something that he does 3 times a year, right? Like, I'm not going to.
Yeah, but still, he gives you the ability to do it.
Yeah. And so, it's little conversations like that I was having at work today. What I do like though, about the Eagles, that offensive line, they are going to sustain and control Chris Jones. One thing that offensive line is not going to do is let your best player have a really good game.
Well, they need to be healthy. They need Jervis back. They need Dickerson back.
But their backups are well coached. I don't know who their offensive line coach is, but that guy does a phenomenal job over there in Philly. They lost an all-star in Kelsey and didn't miss a beat. Didn't miss a beat, Tony. And this is what I talk about. This is why I have such high regard for Chris Forrester, right? The Niners shuffle this offensive line around so much. And while the offensive line didn't play to our normal standards, I don't think the drop-off from losing Trent was as astronomical as we thought it was going to be. It
wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that McKivitz, who's always played like McKivitz, is as good as what his numbers would indicate they are. Now, a lot of that has to do with the quarterback moving and getting rid of the ball to avoid sacks and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I hold these offensive line coaches in such a high regard. Philly has a good one. And so off the top of your head, when we played Philly, when we had Brock Purdy and we dominated them that game, we put up 40-something. It was like 40-something and 19 or whatever they had at the end of that game. They might have put up something in the 20s. I don't remember because I confused that game with the Cowboys game. I know it was 40-something to 19 and 40-something to 27 or something like that. Can you tell me what Nick Bosa did in that game against the Eagles?
I don't remember. I don't.
And it's not a trick question. I'm going to Google it because maybe he did have a really good game, but Philly rarely lets your best defensive line player have a good game. They rarely let that happen. So it was 42-19 when we played them, and Nick Bosa's stats for that game were where is it? Nick Bosa. He had 2 tackles and a total of 4 assists. That's it. My point with this is they don't let your best defensive lineman dictate the outcome of the game. If you come up with against a team that can control Chris Jones and Omenihu, you're going to have a really, really good game. And I think the Eagles are in place to do that. When the Commanders were going up against the Lions, I said it was going to be the highest scoring game of the year, but I thought the Lions were going to win for one reason. I thought rookie Jaden Daniels was going to make more mistakes than the veteran Jared Goff, and those mistakes were going to be the decision and the outcome of the game. I was wrong because he didn't make any mistakes. There were no turnovers by the Commanders, and it was the opposite of what we saw in this last game, right? The team with the turnovers was the team that lost the game. Well, the Eagles controlled the ball. They got the turnovers. And not only did they get the turnovers, they ended up winning the game. So that's what I expected to happen against the Lions. It ended up happening against the Eagles that way. And that's the only reason I picked the Lions to win that game. What were your thoughts on it overall? And then I have one more thing to say after that.
What, the game overall? This game, I mean, I was pulling for Washington 100%, no doubt. But, I mean, like I said before, you can't turn the ball 3 times against a team like that. I mean, the first play of the game, I got to be honest with you, they didn't give up. They got punched right in the face the first play of the game, and they just came right back.
Special teams let them down a lot too. Yeah.
They kept fighting. They were down. Did they have a lead at one point? No, they didn't. I don't think they took a lead. They were like 3 points behind at one point, and then they just lost it. And I love how they didn't quit. I love how they kept fighting, but you can't do that. You expect a championship game and do that. Like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was that. So after the game is over, my school district, because I'm in Pennsylvania, Everyone out here are Philly fans. We're closer to Philly than we are to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 6-something hours away, but the Eagle Stadium is less than 30 minutes away. So the school district decides to send out a message, and I'm going to share this tweet with you guys right here. School district sends out a message last night telling parents and students that today is Eagles Day. Said students should come in wearing team gear or the color green. My daughters were like, Mommy, get the Niner stuff. And I said, I love my kids. My daughters went to school rocking and representing the 49ers, baby. Look at my girls, man. They went out there and they did their damn thing. They represented. And guess what? They got no shit for it either because people know better. Because people know better. They know how we get down over here, baby. So my girls went out there, and they held it down. They represented for the Niners. I'm going to give those girls a round of applause. Shout out to those beautiful babies doing their damn thing. Shout out to Mommy for having the 49ers gear ready, on hand, ready to go out there and represent enemy territory, and we doing our damn thing. All right, so I just wanted to say that. That's the last thing I have on the Eagles.
No, I got one more thing. Rob D just reminded me. Okay. I've been watching football a very long time.
Oh, we got to talk about this. Here we go.
I've been watching football a very long time, and I'm going to go there. I've never,
not once,
ever heard any official say,
if you do it again, we're going to give them a touchdown.
We're going to award the points to Philly if it happens again.
I swear to God, I've never heard that before.
I would have jumped over that file again just to see it.
So
you can't
let me ask a question. What were they supposed to do? They're trying to stop the play. It's a hard count, which means you're trying to draw them off sides. So if it's a hard count and someone comes over the top because that's what his assignment is on the play, what the fuck else is he supposed to do?
Huh?
I've never in my entire life heard that before, and I think the NFL has to do something this offseason when they have this team meeting because that was complete bullshit.
I think they need to get rid of it. They need to get rid of that play because
no. I'm against that. I'm against what you're saying,
Mike. It's. Let me explain something to you. Okay, you yourself just said it. That's his assignment to stop that play. If you take away the advantage of trying to time a snap and being threatened to be put points on the board without even getting into the end zone, that's illegal. And that is not fair, and it's one-sided. It's bad enough that you have three people literally picking somebody up and throwing them over the top of the pile. That's number one, where it's a clear disadvantage to the defensive line. It is a clear disadvantage to the defensive line. It's 100%.
Tony, I understand that the play has a cool nickname when the Eagles do it. It's a fucking quarterback sneak. You can't rule that out. You can't.
It's not a quarterback sneak. It's not a quarterback.
It is a QB sneak. What do you mean?
Bro, come on, Mike. Don't do this.
How
many times do you see they literally lift Jalen Hurts over the top to score or to get the yardage needed?
No, but there's other times where he gets low.
I've been watching football a very long time, Mike. I promise you. Until this tush push came around, you never saw shit like this. There was never a play. You want a quarterback sneak? Sure. You get under the center, you look right, look like bang, you tap the center's nuts, and you go. That's it. That's a quarterback sneak. Not people pushing the line. It's impossible to stop.
So what? It's not impossible because they're not 100% on it. It's not impossible.
It's a very
and
it's
the Commanders stopped it once in that game. The Commanders did stop it one time in that game.
Yeah, but they called the flag on it.
So, but they still stopped it, is what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. You're trying to time the snap, and then they're going to sit there and say, you do it again, we're putting 7 points on the board? Fuck you.
Yeah, that I never heard. See, and what I didn't like in that moment was they were basically saying, all right, well, then just don't try to time the snap. That's literally what every defensive player in the NFL does. You try to time the snap. I don't care if you're a corner. I don't care if you're a safety. I don't care if you're a linebacker or if you're a defensive lineman. Everybody tries to time the snap on a QB sneak. And that's why I say they can't ban it. They can't ban that play.
And that's why people get all this rap. Oh, look. Well, clearly there's an issue with Kansas City and their officials, but whatever. That's a whole nother topic. But this move right here is the reason why people question people getting made fun of as conspiracy theorists. How do you do that? How do you sit there and say, honestly, if you do this one more time, we're giving the points to Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that. And if because so they talked about it during the game. They had the commentators talking about it, and they were like, "I've never heard that before." They agreed with you, but if you are going to award points, you can't just give them a fucking touchdown. That's too many points. Give them a safety and possession. Give them a field goal. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but you are not awarding a team a fucking touchdown because someone went off sides. I don't give a fuck how many times in a row it happens.
You want to know what? I don't even think they wouldn't know what to do. That's why I was hoping he was going to do it again, just to put them on the spot and see what they do. Because I guarantee you, if you pull up the rule book in the NFL, that's not in there.
It can't be in there. It can't.
So then how can you make that statement? I would have protested the game. I would have fought it because I would say, I want you to show me, because I'm sure all these teams get manuals every year with rules and regulations. I would have took the team's lawyer and say, dissect that book apart and tell me where it says they get a point if they keep calling offsides.
Yeah, the commentators during the game said something that I had never heard it before, and they said the head official can do whatever he wants. That was the first time I had ever heard that. I had never heard that before. You can just award points whenever the fuck he feels like it? Did you know that was an NFL rule?
I got to be honest with you. I'm turning to the point where I just love the offseason and fuck the regular season. I don't know.
So I'm with you in the sense that I wanted to see it happen. And had it happened, if I was the Commanders, I forfeit the rest of the game. Fuck you and your ratings for the remainder of this game. We're going home. You guys want to give them points and give them the win? There's no need of us even being out here on the field because those players weren't doing anything illegal. You have your penalty already when we jump off sides. So what the fuck are you creating more penalties for it? And it wasn't even the same player every time. 2 times it was on the guy jumping over. 1 time it was on the edge guy. One of the time. So nobody on my team is allowed to make a mistake on this play? Is that what you're telling me? I'd never seen. I was so furious when I saw that. I was so furious. I couldn't believe it.
They're saying it's in the rule book.
No. I think they're saying that the official G. Cooper says it's in the rule book. What's in the rule book? That the head official can do whatever he wants. Tell me what you meant by that, G. Tell me what you meant by it's in the rule book. What exactly is in the rule book?
Great one. When a team repeatedly commits a penalty, they can award the other team a score. That's impossible. So that means they control the game. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's why people question officiating in the NFL, because at any time they control the game.
I would have made them do it. And if I'm Washington, I would have forfeited the rest of the game. I would have walked out. They were down by so much at that point anyway. I would have walked out. And it wasn't intentional. Those players weren't intentionally breaking the rules. Not a single one of them.
Trying to time the snap to stop.
Exactly.
That's the only way you're going to stop it, is if you go over the top and you hit that.
And grab him. Yeah, you got to go over the top, grab him by his waist, and hope that your momentum pulls him backwards. That's the only way to do it. So someone out there has to tell me what exactly the official rule is. I've never heard that even threatened before. And yes, that's not true, Rob. Half the distance is still half the distance. I don't care if it's an inch. Then give him a half an inch. If it's a foot, you give him a half a foot.
Or you tack it off on the
on the following kickoff. Yeah. So you guys can't tell me that there's a rule for offsides and then say, well, there's another rule for multiple offsides. What the fuck does that mean? Because here's my argument against that. If it happened in the middle of the field, right, and you jump off sides and it's a 5-yard penalty, you give them the first down. And if they do it again, it's 1st and 5. If you do it again, it's another first down. If you do it again, it's 1st and 5 again. And they would just keep matriculating down the field in 5-yard increments. Yes? Do you agree? Mm-hmm. So because it happens in goal line and it's no longer 5 yards, it's only half the distance to the goal. Guess what's half a yard? You guessed it, a quarter of a yard. Mm-hmm. Guess what's half of a foot? You guessed it, 6 inches. Guess what's half of that? 3 inches. Guess what's half of that? 1.5 inches. So I don't give a shit. I don't care. They were trying to stop a play. And if you're going to sit here with a straight face and say you're not allowed to try to stop the play, well, then let us just go home.
And you saw it on the next play. They just kind of just stood there.
Yeah, they just let it go because what are we going to do? So they had to give him the touchdown no matter what.
This is nothing but Niners, nothing but fucking disaster. Nothing but officials.
All right. So we'll keep it moving. All right, there was another game that happened this week, and it was the Chiefs versus the Bills. Again, betting with my heart, I wanted the Bills to win this game so bad. I am just tired of the Patrick Taylors out there. I'm over the Kansas City Swifts. I'm over it, man. I am. And I heard some reports today.
It's not
people
going
saying, "Oh man, you guys got to stop looking at it like you're tired of the Chiefs and look at it as you're witnessing history. You're witnessing history." And I will say this: officiating wasn't as bad in this game for the Chiefs. I'm saying as bad. Did I think the Chiefs got some favorable calls?
They got two massive calls. Massive calls.
I do. I do think that they got a couple of calls in their favor in this game. I'm not going to lie.
Yo, Niner Faithful hit it, bro. Niner Faithful hit it. We should start a podcast, Nothing But Refs. And just trash them week to week and say how bad they are, how pathetic they are, and how they have to pick up their next paycheck from Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that?
What were your thoughts on this game, man?
I think it was a disaster. I mean, I feel my heart goes out to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills and Matt Collins. Jesus God, how many more catches big catches that guy needs to make? I mean, it is what it is. Junior thinks the offensive coordinator for the Bills choked. Listen, man, there was massive calls in this game. Massive calls that went against the Bills that should have been in favor of the Bills. The one with the 4th and 1, the 4th and inches, he did the quarterback sneak. There's a picture on Twitter where there's a solid line and his head is across the line. But, I mean, like, his body was across the line and they pushed him back. That is one. The one that was absolutely horrible was that deep pass where they thought it was picked, but then the guy ripped it out of his hand. That ball hit the ground.
Yeah. But that ball didn't move, man. That ball didn't move when it hit the ground. The ball's allowed to hit the ground, but you have to control it.
It is, but I don't think he had full. When that ball hit the ground, I don't think he had full possession of that ball.
Like, I agree with that part. That part I agree with you.
Had like you know how you see it, like where the ball's like this, and then you hit it, and then you see the ball hit the ground. I don't think either one of them had full possession. And, man, they called that right away. Boom, that's it. First down, Chief. Like, come on, bro. Listen, the Buffalo Bills left it all out on the field. They played their asses off. Excuse my French. Josh Allen.
They did.
I'm truly heartbroken for Josh Allen. I really am. That kid left it all on the field. He tried. They went for it, 2-3 times in a row on 4th down. Like, they I don't know, man.
They had to, and they had some success until they didn't, right? That last 4th down play. And by the way, that last 4th down play, how does Kincaid not fucking catch that? I can't believe Allen got that ball to him.
Yeah.
That shot down the field.
That's how strong his arm is, bro. He's got a
holy shit. What a guy. When I say I want a physically gifted quarterback, and see, this is when you're a Brock Purdy hater. I'm not a Brock Purdy hater, but goddamn, that's the kind of shit right there that I'm talking about when I say I just want a guy that's gifted, right? Brock is great. Let him come in. Let him run the team. Cool. We'll win plenty with Brock Purdy, right? But, oh, my God, man, that play right there was special. He scrambled around. He ran. He moved out of the pocket. He moved to his right, and he's running out, and he just heaves that bitch, and it was right to Kincaid. I don't know if Kincaid thought that the ball wasn't going to come. I don't know, but how do you not catch that? There wasn't anybody within 2 yards of him. How did he not catch that ball?
Rob D goes, the refs were ready to throw a flag if Kincaid caught that ball. He's 100% right. I guarantee you there would have been a flag. I guarantee you there would have been a flag on that play. Guarantee.
Oh, my God. What a freaking play. That game, I will say this, that was probably, other than the Commanders-Lions game, that was probably the most entertaining game I watched all postseason. And there were some really, actually, no, I'm lying. Houston's first game was really, really entertaining as well. I like watching that. Houston played, was it the Chargers?
Yeah.
That was a good game also. I really did enjoy that one. I enjoyed Commanders at Lions, and then this one also. I did enjoy it. I hated the outcome, but I did like it. So
but the league needs to do something with it. The officiating is it's so bad, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So we have a Super Bowl set up, guys. It's going to be the Kansas City Taylors versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're not going to pick winners right now. We will be live before that happens. But I think that this game is going to be a lot better than what most people think. And I want to remind you all, I took my uncle and I, it was supposed to be a group of like 5 of us the last time they played each other. We went out to was it a Buffalo Wild Wings? Was it a Hooters? We went out to a Philly area bar and watched the Super Bowl there. And I will say this. I want to remind everybody, Jalen Hurts was not the reason the Eagles lost that first Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember, but Hurts was phenomenal. I'm not going to lie to you. It may have been the best game of his career. Hurts was running. He was throwing. His receivers let him down time and time again. And they still put up a ton of points. A ton of points in that loss. Now I got to look it up. Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl. Let me see what that score was. Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl score. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to tell you guys Hurts' stat line. It was 35-38 was the final score. Hurts was 27 of 38, 304 yards with 1 touchdown. However, he had 15 carries for 3 touchdowns. Like, it was not on Hurts. That loss back then was not on Hurts. It was because that defense gave up 38 fucking points, man. 38 points. The running game was non-existent. Kenneth Gainwell, who is still on that team, was their leading rusher with 21 yards. Not named Hurts. Hurts had 70 rushing yards in that game. He had 70 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns, 370-plus yards accounted for. It was not on him at all. A.J. Brown, 96 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 7 receptions, 100 yards. Dallas Goedert, 60 yards. Like, it wasn't on Hurts, but that defense just wasn't there. They've got Vic Fangio. They've still got Jalen Hurts. They still have A.J. Brown. They still have Devontae. And now they've got Saquon Barkley. Like, we're not picking winners right now, but I got a feeling that this is going to be a very entertaining game for the Super Bowl. We will pick winners later on in the week or coming weeks for that game. So, Washington, kudos to you guys. Good season. I'll give you guys a round of applause. Also, the Buffalo Bills, good season. No need to walk away from that and hang your head. Both of you guys had phenomenal seasons. To the teams out there that I was cheering for that are no longer in it, I think they did really, really well all year long. And now here we are with Tony, let me ask you this. When you include the Niners, do you think the most balanced team in the NFC is representing the NFC in the Super Bowl in this game? The Lions had offense, no defense. The Eagles have the number 1 defense and a top 10 offense. The Vikings had a top 15 offense, if I'm not mistaken, and a top 17 defense. I'm trying to think of what other teams from the NFC could be more balanced than the Eagles. But I'm asking you for an unbiased take your hate for the Eagles out of it. Do you think that the most well-rounded team in the NFC is representing the NFC in the Super Bowl this year?
I think if the Niners were fully healthy, I would say no.
But we weren't all year. So
I'm just saying, if they were fully healthy, I think it would be the Niners.
Right.
I'm talking
so
Dre
now
Greenlaw, I'm talking the defensive line.
Christian McCaffrey. I get you. So and I'm going to disagree with you because the Niners couldn't tackle. That has nothing to do with Greenlaw because Greenlaw misses tackles also. The special teams unit wasn't there. The Eagles have a good special teams unit. I really want you to take the Niners out of it and then give me the most balanced team in the NFC this year. I think it's the Eagles. I really do.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's the Eagles because they're the only ones that are there from the NFC. But I'm not sold.
The Cowboys.
I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. So I mean, that's just me. He's
not
a
mad at that.
If the guy's wide open, he'll hit him. Other than that, he don't do it for me. I'm sorry. I don't think he's as good as Philly fans think. What Philly fans think he is. Like, I don't think he's. I don't know. Honestly, I think if Detroit didn't get banged up on that defense, I think they would have been the most.
That's fair. That's fair. But they did get banged up, just like the Niners got banged up. And so, unfortunately, we have to take all that into consideration. And that's why I'm giving the nod to the Eagles. I just don't – like Washington and Cliff Kingsbury, that offense was ready to go toe-to-toe with anybody. But you got a rookie quarterback, and you have an offensive line that was pretty mediocre at best. So I understand why they didn't have the best offense in the NFC.
If Barkley wasn't there, would they be as good as they are?
Hell no. But he is there, right? That's like saying if McCaffrey wasn't there, and he wasn't, and we saw what happened with our offense, right? So, I mean,
this team went to a Super Bowl without McCaffrey.
That is true. That is true. They did it too, just a couple years ago, and put up 35 points in the Super Bowl.
It was a running back, though.
No, it was Gainwell. Gainwell was their leading guy. I told you. He had like 20 yards.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No. Miles Sanders.
What do you mean no?
Gainwell was not their top running back that year. It was Miles Sanders.
In the Super Bowl, he was. Miles Sanders had 7 carries for 16 yards.
They ran the fucking read option with him with every other play. So they used the speed to get outside and take advantage of it. But their main back that year was Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got him that big contract to go to Carolina or the Titans? Carolina? Was it Carolina?
You talking about Miles Sanders?
Yeah. Oh, they also had Swift that year too.
Oh, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was the guy, was it?
I think Miles was the lead guy, and then they rotated Swift in.
So he was with the Eagles that year, and he had 1,200 plus yards rushing. That was Miles Sanders.
Mm.
That was Miles Sanders. So, yeah. And DeAndre Swift, 2022, was with. That was the year after. And he only had 1,049 yards. So it wasn't that same year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yes, Swift did play in that Super Bowl, but he only had 16 yards. They both had 7 carries, him and Gainwell. Sanders. Swift did not play in that Super Bowl. You're right. He wasn't with the Eagles that year. That was the 2022 season. He wasn't there. He came the following year to the Eagles. But yeah, so I do think that the best team in the NFC, as much as it pains me to say it, is the Eagles, and they're there in the Super Bowl. That's all we can hope for. If you guys are hoping for someone to stop the Chiefs, this is our best shot. They got the number one defense. This is going to be a hell of a game. Spags versus Fangio. Oh my God. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 2 of the top 5 defensive coordinators are going to be going at it in this game. Hollywood Brown making his presence known. They got him back. They waited all year to get this guy in there. They waited all year, and boom, he comes on like hotcakes in the biggest game of the year for them, right? Travis Kelce was a fucking afterthought. What do you have, 2 receptions in that last game? Like, was he even out there? They only showed Swift on the tush-push touchdown. That's the only time I saw her anyway. It's the only time I saw her, right? Like, I loved it. Like, fuck that. Sorry. Like, I was happy that she wasn't out there. Like, good, cool. And then it's like, oh, man, they got the touchdown. They know they're going to win this game. It's over. So, you know, it is what it is. Yep, Ghost caught me. I'm actually an Eagles fan, guys. That's it. You got me. You got me. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Do you think the Chiefs are the most balanced team in the AFC, Tony?
Absolutely. They have the officials with them, too.
Mm.
And another thing that really, I lost it, and I said, here we go, it's going to happen again. That play where poor Hamlin came up and just tried to make a hit on Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got up, did some fucking stupid like shit in his face, spun the ball, and then here comes Kelce and gets right in his face and talks all that shit.
Not only Kelce, an offensive lineman came behind him also.
2 taunting penalties, not called.
Yep.
That should have been 2 flags. Even if they threw 1, give me 1 flag for taunting. You could have called on Kelce or Mahomes. Bro, they didn't even look at it. Like they
Nope.
it's so like, bro, it's so bad. It's so
Yeah. The Chiefs, that's one thing I will say. They don't usually get after the play penalties, which I don't understand. Because other teams, they call them on other teams versus the Chiefs all the time. But post-play penalties, I don't know that the Chiefs get many of them at all. They were all in the Bills players' face, and nothing was called at all. So it wouldn't have negated the touchdown. It would have taken points off the board.
It's just sad, right? It just gives you like if I was a Bills fan, I'd be like, we're not winning this game. We're defeated. Like we're done. You're not going to win. Like as tough as that, as hard as they played, as tough as they played, and as I just kept fighting. You knew when it came down to that final whistle, it wasn't going to be the Bills. They weren't going to allow it. And that's that.
Yeah.
They want to give this kid the 3-peat so bad. It's disgusting.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll make our picks later on, guys, and we will be back. Tony, is there anything else that you want to go over? Any final thoughts you want to leave the faithful with, man? We touched on a lot tonight. We got some new coordinators in the building. And I don't think the Niners are done putting their coaching staff together yet. I think there could be more.
Give me Joe Woods.
Yeah.
Give me Joe Woods. But Thursday night, 8 o'clock, I believe on NFL Network, East-West Shrine game. Another game loaded with talent. Then Saturday, I believe at 3 o'clock is the Senior Bowl. Or is it the next Saturday? I think it's the following.
I think it's the following one. Yeah, I don't think they do them in the
following
same week.
Saturday is the Senior Bowl, loaded with talent. And
correct me if I'm wrong. The players aren't allowed to play in both, right? It's one or the other.
I don't know. I don't know because there's a time frame. There's a gap. Like their game is this week, and then like that's it. They get if they're a senior, and if someone gets hurt and they make the cut as a fill-in, they might be able to do it.
So the East-West Shrine game, the East-West Shrine game is Thursday, like you said, Thursday the 30th, and then the Senior Bowl is February 1st. Yeah. I can't imagine one guy's going to go from one game and then go to the other, the next day, 2 days later. 30 days suspension. Yeah, 2 days later. That's a lot on any player. I don't think they would allow a player to play in both games.
We'll see. I don't know, man, but I'm tired of talking about the Eagles and the Chiefs. You want to talk about Niners, we can talk, but I'm done with talk about those teams.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the Niners' future, man. It is looking bright, and we're gonna finally get some answers, man. We want to know if Kyle's the answer. It looks that way. It feels that way. But Kyle came under the most scrutiny of his career this past season. And it was weird, right? Because Kyle's had losing seasons here. Kyle is on his 8th year. He's 4-4, 4 losing seasons, 4 winning seasons, right? A couple Super Bowl appearances, 4 playoff appearances. It was a weird season. Let me ask you this in closing: do you think that the scrutiny on Kyle was justified this year? And that is a loaded question.
It is loaded because you have to take in consideration those injuries. That team didn't play one game at all year fully intact. And I'm not just talking about one player. I'm talking about multiple players. And that's tough, man. It's not fair to Kyle. I mean, to get a full evaluation of him, I think he did the best he could with what he had as far as staff and players and injuries. Like, it's the same shit, man, but they got to come in healthy. There's a lot of positive the way they finished with some players, how some players finished the year. It's what you want to see. They didn't quit. They didn't give up at all. They were missing the swag and the friggin' intensity and stuff like that and the motivation, but it's going to be there this year. So get ready for the old 49ers to come back. So I think they'll be all right. And I really can't put the full blame on Kyle for last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Leslie for asking the questions about how my daughters did at school. We did answer that, Leslie. She is probably asleep now. I don't know. Maybe she's still watching, but shout out to Leslie. But yeah, no, we did go over that. No, I think that the some criticisms of Kyle were justified. I think there was a lot of over the top stuff, though. There were certain clicks that felt a little more anti-Kyle than what they should have been. It's almost like people forgot about the injuries. It's almost like people forgot about the departure and the shakeup with the defensive side of the ball. It's almost like people forgot who our special teams coordinator was, right? Like, special teams has always been a bottom 10 unit for the 49ers, right? The defense has not been the same since the departure of Ryans, right? And so all that left us to really hope for was an offense that can carry the load. And then when you start factoring in all of the injuries, we drafted a first-round quarterback and we extended Brandon Ayuk and we got Trent Williams and we got Christian McCaffrey. And then all of a sudden, first-round guys not available until much later in the season. Trent Williams goes down. Christian McCaffrey not available almost all season. And then Ayuk, you got him for 4 or 5 games, right? So it's like we all of a sudden ignored all those things and said, oh, Kyle, bad you, right? So I don't think those criticisms were justified. However, if you told me I'm criticizing Kyle because he didn't value putting time into finding a better defensive coordinator, I'm criticizing Kyle because he didn't value finding a better special teams coordinator, I don't care how late into the season we were playing and all that stuff, you got to go out there and find somebody, because this guy was not the answer. Schneider was not the answer from day one. He was not the guy. I would have been with you. I would have been with you if those were your criticisms, right? But they didn't really do that. They took that and they piled on everything else. I don't think that there's a team in the NFL that should be expected to overcome as many injuries as we did. If you said, hey, Kyle, we didn't invest enough in the offensive line this offseason in free agency and in the draft, I would have been with you, right? So it was kind of like, does Kyle deserve criticisms and more criticisms this year than he did any other year? Yeah. But the shit that you guys were putting on him, maybe not. I thought that was a bit much. This year, with all this time, with the scouts, with the coordinators in position now, I think this is the year where you sincerely get to judge Kyle Shanahan after this upcoming season. Not the one that just ended, the one that we are about to have. That's when you guys really get to say it. That's when you guys really get to pull the gloves off.
I think this team saw the writing on the wall at the trade deadline. That's why they didn't do nothing.
Yeah, and it sucks because, right, like the Niners weren't out of it until week, what was that, 14, 15, something like that? As bad as our record was.
They knew the status of that team. They knew it was going to go on. They knew it. They knew it.
Yeah.
For them not to make a move, and John Lynch to come out and say, "Oh, we were in on a couple of things, it just didn't pan out at the end." And then 1 second left before 4 o'clock, they traded for a guy who never even suited up.
Right. What was his name?
Khalil Davis.
I rest my case.
But
right? It's like,
you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's unheard of. Like, that's not the Niners. The Niners go out and they'll do something. They'll get somebody, right? That one year they went out and got a Menahue. Then they got CMC. Then they make plays for players that if they see that they can make a difference for a run, they'll do it.
Right. This is Kyle's 8th season, Pockets. I see your question here. I just want to remind you guys, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and this year was 24. This is Kyle's 8th season. And the only reason I remember that is because that's when Nothing But Niners started. Nothing But Niners was birthed in 2017. So that's the only reason I remember that. We are directly tied to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch era. So, yeah. So back to Tony's point, though. Like, I agree with you, man. I agree with you, bro.
If anything, I know this might sound crazy what I'm about to say, but I'm willing to give him a little credit what he did with the game plan with the running backs, with the rotations with the running backs, finding people, prepping them, getting them ready, him and Bobby Turner. You know, injuries to Brandon Ayuk. They still were able to get receivers out there. Granted, it didn't look good, but the team never really, from the opening whistle, got blown the hell out of a game. They never did.
I think the Niners might need another wide receivers coach, Tony. The fact we had –
what I'm saying is, like, schematic-wise. Like, he still got the best he could with what he had.
Right. Okay. I see that. I do understand what you're saying. I do. Right? Like, the offense, while it did take a step back, an obvious step back, but there were obvious reasons for it, right? Like, we're not going to just continue on as if Ayuk is easily replaceable, right? Like, all the people that were saying, oh, we should have got rid of Ayuk, we should have traded him and all that stuff. You guys see what this offense was without Brandon Ayuk. It's not the same, right? And while Pearsall did come on strong, my criticism would be, what about the other kid, right? What about the other rookie that couldn't find his way into any real playing time? Even in the game where Jauan Jennings, who was going for 1,000 yards, was out on the first drive, right?
I'm with you. I think
couldn't get into the rotation.
I think they need to look to replace Leonard Hankerson. I do. Because you drafted Bell, you drafted Pearsall, you drafted Cowing, you drafted all these pieces, Danny Gray. And
we moved on from Bell twice in one season. Like, what the hell was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? You got these guys here, and you didn't do anything with these guys. So I think the development of wide receivers is something that the 49ers really need to focus on. It seems like if they don't naturally have it, they just don't stand a chance at surviving here. Like, not for nothing. And this is going to sound like a knock, and I promise you guys it's not. It's a testament to the players' natural gifts. Tell me one aspect of Jauan Jennings' game that's improved since he was a rookie. The short answer is you can't. He's always been a good route runner. He's always been a good contested catch guy, right? But the speed hasn't improved, right? He's always had the ability to break tackles. He hasn't improved. I'm not saying that he's bad. This is not a knock on him. Again, this is a testament to who he is. But where's the improvement from him? I haven't seen any or many wide receivers improve in this system outside of Brandon Ayuk.
The one thing with Jauan Jennings I will say is you said it yourself. He's a good route runner. He high points the ball. He's a fighter. He's a dog, whatever it is, what it is. He gets open. But I think they hit his ceiling with his skill set as far as athleticism. you're not going to get much more than what you see as far as speed, as far as shiftiness, agility. I think that's Jauan Jennings. Now, his production, I think, could go higher if he's given a bigger role in this offense, which I think you might see next year because of Ayuk not being ready. So that's something to keep in the back of your head, because
Right.
he's going to get that full role now from week 1, not week 8, 7.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he just about. Well, I'm going to say he got 1,000 yards, even though he didn't, but he did. And you can talk about another 300 yards in the matter of 5 weeks.
Let me ask you this. Is it a fair comparison? And I know they don't look alike. I know their size isn't alike. I'm talking about their usage. Is Brandon Ayuk Kyle Shanahan's Wes Welker? Don't just answer the question. Let it sink in for a second. Think about that for a second before you answer the question. Wes Welker was a good blocker, a willing blocker. While he wasn't a high point guy, he was a contested catch guy, and he was consistently a chain mover. We called it 3rd and Jauan 2 seasons ago with this kid. 2 seasons ago. I sincerely think that Kyle Shanahan found his version of Wes Welker in Jauan Jennings. And I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that, because it was one thing, right? What this season taught me was, any third wide receiver in Kyle Shanahan's option, in Kyle Shanahan's scheme with the Niners, should be the chain mover, right? We did it with Kendrick Bourne, because they're going to cover Ayuk. They're going to cover Debo. They're going to cover Kittle. You better win your matchup, right? That was kind of like the easy way of looking at it. Well, this year, Jennings became a focal point, and they still couldn't stop him, which is what Wes Welker was in the NFL. Yeah. I think Kyle found a little gem there. That's my personal opinion. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just making my argument. Then I was giving you some time to think about it. But what do you think there?
I could see that, because you got to remember something. He's not facing 1s and 2s, and where they align him when they're all healthy, he's on the 3s and 4s. So there's a clear advantage with that. Or he could be singled up on a linebacker if they're in their base, or a safety, and that's where Kyle takes the advantage. That's where Kyle sees. That's what the game plan is for Jauan Jennings and Kyle's offense.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're putting your number 1 on him. I mean, I even think he can beat 1s, because he can high point the ball. He's more physical, and he can out body a corner. So,
right, he's not going to beat him downfield. Don't ask him to run those outs.
He's going to beat him in between the hashes.
Right, exactly. And that's why I compare him to Wes Welker, right? Like Wes Welker, while it happened occasionally, he wasn't a deep route runner, right? And Wes Welker didn't always face number 1s because of stature and because of the type of routes that he was running. The number 1s were lined up on other guys on that team that had a little bit more speed, a little bit more height, and a little bit more size, right? But Wes Welker just always took advantage of it. But what was consistent about him was his route running ability and his ability to separate in short yardage areas, right? His ability to find that open spot in the zone and all that stuff, right? Like that's what seemed to make Wes Welker special. I just see that with Jennings. I see it with Jennings. Does he have the career numbers that Wes Welker has? No, obviously not. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about usage and his ability to just continue to move the chains. That's what I see, and I could be wrong. I'm not mad at anybody who disagrees. I just thought it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What other improvements on the offensive side of the ball? Because when next year starts, I think Ayuk is back sooner than what most people think. But let's just assume he's not. You got Debo, you got Kittle, you have Pearsall, you got another year of Cowling. I'm separating him from the rest because we haven't really seen much from him. Cowling could be the next Danny Gray. I don't know. We don't know, right? But whatever. But he's over here. I believe Conley is done. I believe he's done, or he might have one more season. I'm not sure. I'll put him over here. He's back?
No,
he's a free. Okay. All right, so he's done. All right. You have McAffrey coming back, who should be healthy. What are the top 2 needs for the Niners outside of center? I know how much you value center. I know how much I value center. outside of center, what are the top 2 needs for this 49ers offense? Right tackle and what?
I think a number 2 tight end is massive for them.
Ooh. So right tackle and tight end? Or maybe you disagree with right tackle. Maybe you disagree as that being a top need outside of center.
I mean, I think right tackle is a need, but I'm not going to sit there and take somebody at 11 just to say I took a right tackle.
Pockets has a good point here also. What about replacing Banks?
You don't want to replace him in the first round.
Oh, I wasn't saying first round. I'm just saying offensive. If you're going to address something, whether it's free agency or in the draft, what are the top 2 offensive priorities outside of center is what I'm asking.
You got the depth on the line, another tight end. Actually, you need 2 tight ends. And I think you need a little speed. You need a little speed with that offense, I think.
Mm-hmm. So maybe another wide receiver to replace somebody else is what you're saying.
You could add somebody, absolutely. I mean, I think they're going to draft a receiver this year, no doubt about it. Where, I can't tell you.
Okay, wait. Before you move on, you're saying speed. Are you talking about the wide receiver group? Or are you talking about running backs also?
I'm talking about the offense in general. I think you need speed at tight end. I mean, obviously Kittle's fast, but your number 2 can't be a plotter.
Because I think Debo and Ayuk have decent speed. That's why I'm asking about speed. When you say speed, I think Ayuk, Debo, Kittle have above average NFL speed. I think Christian McCaffrey is you know what? I'll even give Christian McCaffrey speed. I think that he runs out of gas on those 60-yard runs, right? But for the first 40, Christian McCaffrey's got plenty of giddy up. So I don't even think he's lacking in the speed department. Like, where would you add speed? Like, that's why I'm asking. I think there's speed here.
Jameis Williams take that reverse and score without being touched. That's speed. I'm talking like sub 4.3 speeds. Like, you need a burner. I mean, I just want to. I think this team lacks speed. I think they need an influx of speed, offensively, defensively, special teams. They need speed.
Okay.
They're a slow team. They're not a fast team. Garendo's
we
fast.
Are a slow and old team, yeah.
Garendo's fast, but Garendo's not fast out the gate. Garendo has to lead up to that speed. And once
I would love to see him.
Then he's fast. But
I would love to see him catch a screen with 2 or 3 blockers in front of him in space. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what Garendo could do in that situation, man. Oh, man, I would love to see that. Okay. Yeah, so there is some on the team, but it's not being utilized the right way. And maybe because of the fact that Christian McCaffrey was hurt and Ayuk wasn't out. You know what I mean? Like, then all of a sudden, that's the speed guy. We're going to make sure that we take him out of the game. But you put those pieces back on the team, the speed all of a sudden shows back up again. You know, so it's very interesting. I like the take. I'm not disagreeing with it at all. I don't want you to think that at all. And same question for the defensive side of the ball. And I'm not going to take away 2 positions because I don't really know what the top 2 defensive needs are. What do you think the top 2 needs are for defense? All positions included.
Oh my God. They need to redo their defensive line. They need
edge and tackle. You think those are the top 2 priorities on the defense?
I think so. I think they definitely need interior guys. They need guys that are going to take up space. They need that, without a doubt. I think they could use another edge guy with speed off the edge. Like, I'm talking about a guy like with a first step that'll go. What?
Happy fucking birthday, Tony. I forgot to say happy birthday to my guy, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was Tony's birthday. We got a super chat here that says 10 for Tony and 10 for Mike's Hookah. Buy Tony a beer. Tony, first drinks on me, man. We're getting together somewhere. Are we doing the draft together this year?
I gotta see, man. Yeah, I want to, but I gotta see.
All right, well, even if we're not doing it together, I'm gonna come and find you. I'm buying you a drink. Jedi says so, man. Happy freaking birthday to our resident GM, Tony. Tony's birthday was yesterday, guys. I forgot. I wanted to start the show with it. I completely forgot. Thank God for the final thoughts segment because, man, oh, man, I can't believe I did it. Tony is 21, guys. He's finally 21 years old, man. Round of applause for our resident GM. 21 years old, man. Yeah, now I can go out and officially buy you a brew. Let me ask the question that everybody is dying to know. I know Jedi wants to know. What is the drink of choice, Tony? What's your go-to?
Margarita.
Woo! Give me one margarita. Let me not sing that song. Look at all the birthday love in here for you, man. Yeah, we are a day late and $1 short. Thank you, Jedi, for making up for that $1 short.
Thank you very much.
I really, really appreciate it, man. But yeah, happy birthday to my man Tony, man. They said Aquarius power. Whatever. Is that what your sign is? Aquarius? I don't know the signs like that, man.
I'm Aquarius, yeah.
All right. So what's the is my mom an Aquarius? Her birthday is the 4th of January, or is she something different?
I think she's right on the cusp of being. I think she might be an Aquarius.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't get me lying about that stuff, man. I'm the worst person when it comes to signs. People were like, Mike, what's your sign? I was like, stop. That's the octagon, right? Oh, they said she's a Capricorn. Okay, so there you go. She's a Capricorn. I'll take your guys' words for it. I don't know at all. Here we go. We got another super chat here. Here we go. Let's play some horns for it. Sean says, I told happy birthday telepathically. You didn't respond yesterday. I'm hurt. Happy birthday, bro. There you go. I like seeing the love, man. Getting that birthday love, man. And Jedi, I don't know if I played the sounds for you also, but that's for your super chat as well. So Tony, man, look, that's another happy birthday one there. If the drinks are $10, I owe you $3 now. So you got to let me know, man. I'm gonna get you some margaritas. Do margaritas come in certain flavors, or is the flavor a margarita? I'm not a margarita person. So
they come in margaritas, tequila with
like, is there a such thing as like a lime margarita or a strawberry margarita, or
you get strawberry? Lemon lime is like the base of the margarita, like a lime a juice, like a bar mix they call it. But
so the margaritas, that's the one that's served in the upside down titty glass, right? It's like a titty upside down.
No, they could be in a rocks glass.
Oh, what's the one that comes on a stem, and it's the upside down titty? It's like the nipple and then the bigger part up top, and they put like salt around. That's not a margarita glass?
It could. I never seen it like that. I always get it in a
Hold on, wait. Now I shouldn't have said titty. We're way past the 8-minute mark, but margarita glass. Let me see here. I'm Googling it. The glass that I'm thinking, yeah. This is it. It's the upside down titty. This is what I'm thinking about here. See? Okay. I'm gonna share the screen so you guys don't think I'm crazy. Wow. Y'all are gonna think I'm nuts. Oh, they said Bloody Mary, so maybe they also serve Bloody Marys out of this too. So I could be wrong. I don't know. Boom. Let me leave it there, and let me pop that up here. That's the upside down titty, right? That's it, right? No.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what. Or is that okay? Oh, they said a martini. Oh, that's a martini. No, the martini is just a V. The martini is just the
that's
wide
a margarita.
V.
That could be a margarita glass, yes.
Okay.
But that's not with ice. That's straight up.
Oh, so they come different.
Yeah, like I get mine with ice. So I get it like in a rocks glass where that's straight up. That's shaken and poured into a cup.
Oh, shaken, not stirred. You want some James Bond shit?
No, I used to bartend.
Oh, look at that, man. I'm learning about my guy. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to get you the big 60-ouncer. No. All right, so when we go out, you can't say no. You can't tell me what I'm going to buy for you. Yeah, I am. We're going to go somewhere. Where are you watching the Super Bowl? Don't tell me you're working either. Come on, February 9th.
I'm working. I want overtime.
You don't want to see this game. Look, that's going to be the drink I get for Tony, guys. That one right there. They said, wait, how Tony bartending, but you're allowed to serve drinks underage. You're just not allowed to sell them. I mean, not allowed to drink them. So there you go, man. I'm getting Tony the 60-ounce margarita if I got to make it myself, man. If I get Tony to do the draft show with me in person, guys, we will be on camera, and I'm going to show you guys the 60-ounce margarita. What's your flavor?
Just regular. I don't like flavor.
Wait,
I'll show you how to make them. They're easy to make.
Is that lime? What's regular? I don't know. It has to taste like something.
Well, the way the restaurants make them, they use a bar mix. I make them from scratch.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, he's going to teach me.
I use agave. I use actually agave lemonade, Milagro tequila or Don Julio tequila with a small splash of orange juice. Shake it and put it over ice.
Okay. All right. Well, I know the ingredients now, so I'm going to get some agave tequila, some Don Julio. I know what that is. I've seen the bottles. I'm not much of a tequila person, but that doesn't mean that I won't get it from my guy. So there you go, guys. The super chats will go towards that, and I'm going to try my hardest to get Tony to do another Nothing But Niners draft show with me. We got a streak going, man. What are we on? 3 years in a row? I think we've done 3 consistently together, right? Did I do the draft show? Yeah, I think I did do the draft show. Yeah,
we didn't do it. We didn't do it the COVID year though.
That was 2020.
Yeah, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We got a little streak going. We got a nice streak going, man. So we can go closer to you if you want. You know, I'm sleeping over, so it doesn't matter. We can go closer to you if it'll help. We're gonna do that, man. We got to get this thing going here. I like it. I like it. He said, I remember Tony's draft board when we drafted Purdy. I still got the board. I refuse to delete it. I haven't erased it. I'm afraid that stuff might be permanently on there now. I'm going to have to get some real bleach and alcohol to spray that thing down. I refuse to delete it, man. But we're going to bust out the big board. We got the multiple cameras and everything now, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. So you guys out there in the chat, let Tony know that you guys want to see him on a Nothing But Niners draft again, man. We got 3 days to do it, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tell him don't back out. Call out of work. This is the one time a year that he loves. We know that he loves it. Like he said in this episode, he's starting to like this time of year more than the actual regular season, guys. He said it. Skip the regular season. We'll do postseason and then preseason, and that's all Tony wants to do, man. That's it right there.
I've been following the draft a long time.
Yeah, he gets all the books. He's probably you got any of the books already this year or no?
No, they're not out yet.
They're not out yet. I know he's got them on pre-order, man. He's got his sites that he uses.
When you said I was doing my taxes, I was starting my folder.
Oh, look at him. My man is always prepared, man. That's my dog, Tony, right there. That's my guy. All right, guys, listen, man, we're going to wrap this thing up here. We've been on for over 2 hours. We hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Tony, man, thank you so much. And again, happy belated birthday. I'm so glad that you could join us tonight, man. I sincerely appreciate it. Shout out to the super chats. Again, I'm going to pop them both up here. You guys sent those $20 super chats. I'm going to make sure Tony gets every drink worth out of that. All right. Thank you guys very, very much. We love and appreciate you guys. It's going to do it for us tonight. Tony, anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys. We're going to see you guys soon. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always
remain faithful.
Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing